for the people like this. Race Corner Live, Race Corner Live. Never be surprised that Ray is on the rise. Never be a fool, take it from the rise. Instagram, Facebook, Ray is going live. From Camden across the world, you can see that he's beneficial. Never the same topics, he's speaking on different issues. Preaching at different churches and speaking at different venues. Ray is that living proof that Jesus is really with you. Controversial issues, he gon' talk about it. Without Ray's Corner Live, hear his thoughts about it. If you ain't tuning in, just know you tripping, homie. This ain't all about religion, it's the wisdom, homie. And the vision, homie. It was written, but sometimes you gotta listen just so you complete the mission, homie. Race Corner Live, he got a testimony. I just thank God he got these blessings for me. For real. I learned not to even mess with phonies. Never. Race Corner Live, he got a message for me. Thanks. I said a message for me. Race Corner Live, he got a message for me. Race Corner Live, Race Corner Live. Never be surprised that Ray is on the rise. Never be a fool, take it from the rise. Instagram, Facebook, Ray is going live. Race Corner Live, Race Corner Live. Never be surprised, Ray is on the rise. God is on our side, so we gon' survive. God is on our side, so we gon' survive.
Welcome. Welcome to Race Corner Live. Come to you live all the way from here. We're here, right here. Just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in to our first episode of Race Corner Live. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you, men. We directly, women are welcome, but we're directing this at men. What do we do here at Race Corner Live? We address issues pertaining to men. One of the things is understanding masculinity. Understanding masculinity. And the other thing we talk about is emotional incarceration and imprisonment of the mind. So when we talk about understanding masculinity, there are so many things about being masculine in this society. So many falsehoods, so many roles that we have to play. There's a crisis for men right now because we're not truly understanding our purpose. Why are we here? God has planned. God has a purpose for us, has a plan for us. Understanding we don't have to conform to the roles that the world system say we need to be, but we need to conform to the purpose and plan that God has for our life, and then we will understand our role here on this earth. When we talk about emotional incarceration and imprisonment of the mind, just we're listening to ourselves. We're listening to all the negativity that we're talking to ourselves. We're looking at the flashbacks. We're looking at the mistakes. We're dealing with the fear. We're dealing with the failure. We're dealing with the shame. We're dealing with all those things that bounds us, locked up in our mind, keeping us from moving forward, never getting parole, never getting released. So we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it today. Come on, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Race Corner Live on YouTube, follow us, hit notification, share, and all that good stuff, like stuff. But let's get right with it. This is our first episode of Race Corner Live. Even the Race Corner Live talking about false masculinity. False masculinity. Let me read this. Listen, I'm reading a powerful book. You guys need to get this powerful book. The Measure of a Man. The Measure of a Man. Powerful. A lot of stuff we're going to just share from that and from my personal experience. I'll be getting my book out. And listen, my book's coming to Tunnel Vision. Coming out of that tunnel vision. But let me read this real quick. And this is how we're doing this thing, right? This is how we're doing this thing, right? This is how we're doing this thing. I need you to stay open. I need you to put everything else on the shelf. Let me ask you this question. And matter of fact, I'll get to that later. But men, here we go. We so often define ourselves by what we do, who we know, and what we owe. And we do so that unwittingly, and we set ourselves up for great confusion, failure in our personal lives. I'm going to say that again. We often define ourselves by what we do, who we know, and what we own. And what happens when we do that, we set ourselves up for confusion and failure in our lives, unwillingly, unwittingly, unknowingly. See, how we identify ourselves so often gets messed up because of what we call false masculinity. I remember when I was growing up, my uncle used to tell me real men don't carry umbrellas. So I spent almost the first 13, 14 years of my life just putting on a raincoat, not having an umbrella until I got so sick, so wet. I started carrying an umbrella. Let me tell you, there's a wonderful book entitled Season of Life. It addresses the identity confusion that men experience, especially in challenging times. I'm saying it again, it's Seasons of Life. It's written by Jeffrey Marks. Right? And it follows, let me back up, it identifies the confusion that men experience, especially when life is challenging, when things come at us. When things ain't smooth. When things are not smooth. See, the book talks about two men who coach high school football, right? But the way they coach, it's like considered highly unusual. They have this unique approach about coaching. Look, they're not committed to winning. You know how we are, competitive we are as men. If we're coaching, we gotta win. It's all about winning. But listen, that was not their main focus. Their main focus was to help these young boys become men. The object of their teaching, they wanted to teach high school boys how to be men. And guess what? Because they took that approach, it so happens they was winning a lot of championships. So in the book, right? In the book, he was sharing with one of the guys. His name was John Erdman. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. He was an all-pro defensive tackle for the Baltimore Colts. For my younger tune-ins, Baltimore Colts, you probably never heard of them. Actually, the Baltimore Colts are the Indianapolis Colts. What happened to Baltimore Colts one night, they snuck out of Baltimore and moved to Indianapolis, and nobody knew until the next morning. And hence, you have the Indianapolis Colts and the Baltimore Ravens. That was just a tidbit of information. So Erdman says this. I hope I'm saying that name right. Erdman says that as young boys grow up, they are consistently told to act like men. Now we talk about false masculinity here, right? How many of us, when we were growing up, if you was at a two-family home or a one-parent home, you got around 9, 10, 11-year-olds, your mom would say, man, you're the man in the house, you need to grow up. Your dad would say, man, you're becoming a man, you got to grow up. We consistently told that when we become adolescents, right? So here's the problem. The problem is that most fathers never give the sons any definition of manhood. Not a true definite manhood. So as parents, we become a big part of the problem when we demand our sons to become men. When our boys have no concept of what that means. You are telling me, we are telling them, be a man, be a man. How do I know what a man is supposed to be if nobody is teaching me and telling me what a man is supposed to be? And here's the sad part. Guilty, I'm guilty. Most fathers have no real understanding of themselves, right? Have no real understanding of themselves, of what true masculinity looks like, sounds like, acts like. And in that retrospect, or why should we expect our sons to know what is expected of them when we don't know what's expected of ourselves? So this guy, Coach Erdman, I hope I'm saying this right. He does these workshops all over the place. He does these workshops everywhere, all around the country. He does this workshop. And in the beginning of his workshop, he has each participant like a note card, a blank note card, and asks them to write down his definition of the word masculinity. Listen, in the comment section, you're gonna see. I'm gonna challenge you yourself. Listen, write down what is your definition of masculinity. And here's what he has found. Most men are absolutely dumbfounded by the question. They have no idea how to respond, and most of them leave the cards blank. I am so guilty of that. I need to go look in the dictionary. I'm going to look, watch this. I'm going to go look in the dictionary. What is masculinity? I'm going to be masculine based on what the dictionary tells me. Man, I'm that man that got that. Listen, I'm that man that had that blank piece of paper. That's why we are here. We need to understand what is true masculinity. It's tied to our purpose and plan that God has for our life, that we can understand the roles, how we're supposed to roll in our role in the kingdom, because there's a void in the earth that we're supposed to fill as men. See, in other words, many men who may consider themselves to be real men are in fact clueless. I was clueless. That's why I spent 20 years on drugs, alcohol, homeless, in the streets and all those things, because I was clueless of how a man's supposed to be. At one point in my life, man, I thought I was useless. I thought I would never be able to do anything constructive. I just thought I would live my life like always homeless, always up and down, on drugs, prison, the whole 9 yards, and my perception of a man while I was hustling, man, I got to get it in, I got to get this money, I got to make this money, I got to do this so that I can get drugs and all this stuff, and I'm masculine because look, I'm getting my own, I don't need nobody to give me nothing. But listen, my definition, false masculinity. See, young men, we got to start teaching our young men at home. But if we can't teach them at home, right? How are they supposed to learn? What will happen? What happened with me, right? Single parent. My last masculinity was shaped by my culture and the messages that I received on masculinity and manhood. Meaning, I grew up in the projects, so the culture of the projects taught me how to be masculine. The messages that I received from my old heads taught me how to be masculine. And I could be wrong, but a lot of people under the sound of my voice, a lot of brothers under the sound of my voice, right? That's how we learned. See, I understand when I'm making that money, when I'm flourishing, when I'm doing good, man, everything is flowing, man, I can do this thing, man, when I'm just rolling. I'm secure. I'm all those good things. But when the money ain't right, when things ain't right, when finances and relationships ain't right, and the future's not looking bright, I start unraveling. We start unraveling, start getting nervous, You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about me. I don't know, maybe you too, but I'm just talking about me. I'm just talking about me. So a lot of times, what are we really asking ourselves? What are we really asking ourselves? Excuse me. This is what most of the time, man, this is what we're asking ourselves. Remember when I started off, who we know, what we do, and all that stuff? What we really ask ourselves, what do people think of me as a man? Do I measure up in the eyes as they see the real me? Or as they see the choices that I'm making? Man, I started making people looking at me crazy, women looking at me crazy. I was making some of the craziest choices. I thought there were some good choices, and it was just like falling apart. So when we talk about life in today's world, it's all about what we do and how successful we are at what we do. See, because I'm always wondering, what do they think about what I do? How do you rate what I do? What would happen to me if I fail at what I do? See, as I examine my own life, I have realized that what I really fear is the thought of experiencing shame in my life. See, because the fear of shame has paralyzed me from doing so many things. The fear of shame paralyzed me as I try to make some decisions, right? The fear of shame paralyzed me because I just can't live, act, and look the way that I used to be, because these choices I made caused me to look and act anything that a real man looks and acts like. See, because I should always display, or we should always display, or we should never display any type of weakness. See, real men, masculine men, we don't display weakness, and we cannot display weakness at all. We should never experience business failure. We should never fail in business. We should never be subject to emotional and psychological pain. And of course, the biggie, real men should never be depressed. I'm just saying. Let me share something with you before I get ready to get out of here. Shame, according to the popular lecturer Malcolm Smith, watch this, is the leukemia of masculinity. It makes so many men determined to hide their fears and their faults. See, if we believe we do not have what it takes to be a man, it just makes me feel not adequate, man. It feels like I don't measure up to nobody. It invalidates my sense of manhood. See, shame is what destroys men's lives. Shame is what destroyed my life. And finally, I'm convinced one of the reasons this fear of shame is so paralyzing is because many of us have been scarred by it from events in our past. It could be shameful events from my childhood or as a teenager, or possibly something happened in college or around that time. So what happened to me is I purposed in my heart to never experience that type of pain again, without realizing the unintended consequences it could bring in my life. This is our first episode of Ray's Corner Live. This your guy Ray, coming to you live all the way from here. Man, we gonna chop this thing up. Man, we in crisis. Man, we in crisis. We walk around false masculinity. We're trying to portray a role that the world's trying to say we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be the head, not the tail. We don't know if we're the head or the tail. No one's letting us be men. Women aren't letting us be men. We're not, listen, we don't know what our role is. We can't define our role in society today because society has changed so much. But I'm here to tell you, if we walk in the purpose and plan that God has for our life, we will understand our roles. We have to take a step back, right? And stop defining ourselves by what we have and what we don't have, or what we do or what we don't do, or who we know or who we don't know. So look, this your guy Ray, coming to you live all the way from here. Where's here? right. Chill. And like we say here on Ray's Corner Live, God loves you, and I love you, and guess what? Ain't nothing you can do about that. Peace out. Holla.
What's up, It's your nephew, L.A. Mars. We gonna do it one time for the people like this. Ray's Corner Live, Ray's Corner Live. Never be surprised that Ray is on the rise. Never be a fool, take it from the rise. Instagram, Facebook, Ray is going live. From Canada across the world, you can see that he beneficial. Never the same topics, he's speaking on different issues. Preaching at different churches and speaking at different venues. Ray is that living proof that Jesus is really with you. Controversial issues, he gon' talk about it. Without Ray's Corner Live, hear his thoughts about it. If you ain't tuning in, just know you tripping, homie. This ain't all about religion, it's the wisdom, homie. And the vision, homie. It was written, but sometimes you gotta listen just so you complete the mission, homie. Ray's Corner Live, he got a testimony. I just thank God he got these blessings for me. For real. I learned not to even mess with phonies. Never. Ray's Corner Live, he got a message for me. I said a message for me. Ray's Corner Live, he got a message for me. Ray's Corner Live, Ray's Corner Live. Never be surprised that Ray is on the rise. Never be a fool, take it from the rise. Instagram, Facebook, Ray is going live. Ray's Corner Live, Ray's Corner Live. Never be surprised, Ray is on the rise. God is on our side, so we gon' survive. God is on our side, so we gon' survive.